Hello, pre-calculus students and seekers of truth. We continue our study of sinusoids by graphing this function here. Again, let's try to do this without a calculator first, and then of course you could always use your calculator to check. And we want to be able to do this by using our knowledge of transformation. So there's actually three transformations here. The negative in the front tells me that it has to be reflected over the x-axis, so it's reflecting vertically, right? And then the 4 here means that it's going to get stretched by vertically by 4. And then the 3 in here means that it has this 3 right here has a horizontal shrink of 1/3. And actually the way that these transformations set up, you could do them in almost any order that you want. So all three of these transformations are order independent. All right, so let's apply, I think, what might be the simplest one, the easiest one first, which is something that's the vertical stretch by 4. So that means that the highest point here will be 4, and then the lowest point here will be -4. And this is the sine function, so it's going to start at 0, 0 here, and then it's going to go up, reach its max, come back down, hit these x-axis, and then go back up, just like so. And then over here, we can continue it on this side as well. Okay. Now, notice something here is that I have not graphed anything on the x-axis yet. That's because the horizontal shrink here is going to change everything. Now, I'm going to draw a tiny baby graph here of the sine function up here. And remember that these points, the max occurs at pi/2. And then the x-intercept here occurs at pi, and then the min here occurs at 3 pi/2, and then the second x-intercept here occurs at 2 pi. Now this is relevant because a horizontal shrink is going to change all those points. A horizontal shrink of 1/3, we just take all of these points and we multiply them all by 1/3. So this max here will occur at pi/2 times 1/3, which is pi/6. The x-intercept here, which occurs at pi, right? We're going to multiply that by 1/3, and that will give us pi/3. The minimum here is 3 pi/2, 3 pi/2 right here. So we multiply that by 1/3, and we get 3 pi/6, otherwise known as pi/2. And then 2 pi right here. 2 pi times 1/3 is going to give us, at this point right here, 2 pi/3. Okay. So this kind of changes everything that we have here along the x-axis. And so we've taken care of the vertical stretch by 4, we've taken care of the horizontal shrink, and then we're going to graph our final answer here, which is what it looks like after we reflect over the x-axis. So all that means is instead of going up, we're going to start out by going down. So we're going to go down, and then we're going to come back up, and then we're going to come back down, just like so. And then over here, instead of going down like we did before, we're going to go up and then down. Okay. And these points here haven't changed. It's still pi/6. This right here is pi/3. This max here will occur when x is equal to pi/2. And this here is going to be 2 pi/3. And we didn't do this in the last problem because I forgot, so let's do it in this problem. So first thing we're going to know, this is f of x, right? And let's talk about the amplitude. Well, the amplitude is max minus min divided by 2. The max here occurs at 4, The min occurs at -4. 4 minus -4 over 2 will give us 4. So the amplitude is 4. The period, okay, remember that the period is equal to 2 pi divided by whatever this number is over here. So this is 2 pi divided by 3. And you can see that's very clear in our graph, that the graph starts out at 0, 0 right here, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, and then it goes down, and then it goes back to the middle of the graph here. And this takes 2 pi over 3 units for that to happen. Right? There is no vertical shift, and there is no phase shift or horizontal shift. Okay, so there are no shifts in here whatsoever. Right? And we definitely graph 2 periods of this. So we start in the middle. Actually, we need to bring this over here. It's not very pretty, but so from this point right here, down, up, down, that's one period, and then the yellow highlight here, that gives me the second period. All right, so there we have it, a graph where we're talking about only stretching and shrinking horizontally